New governor of the central bank to be appointed, a statement by the president. Auditor General's report on the central bank bond issue presented to COPE. Deputy Minister Tevara Peruma takes a critical decision. 41 dead and more than 230 injured in Istanbul airport attack. With news from home and across the globe, you're watching Prime Time News on Newsfirst. A very good evening to you. I'm Chaturanga Hapuarachi.
And I'm Mahina Bongzo. Your top story this evening. Presenting his oral update on Sri Lanka at the 32nd session of the UN Human Rights Council sessions in Geneva, UN Human Rights Chief Prince Zaid Rad Al Hussein has affirmed that international participation is necessary to guarantee credibility, independence and impartiality.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Mangala Samaravira, who is also attending the UN Human Rights Council session, noted that the government is united and firm in its commitment to achieve reconciliation.
The government has taken some steps towards promoting reconciliation. I am, however, concerned that the government has not moved fast enough with tangible measures to build confidence among victims and minority communities. There are anxieties that the full promise of governance reform, transitional justice and economic revival risks stalling or dissipating. I remain convinced that international participation in the accountability mechanisms as stipulated in the Human Rights Council's resolution would be a necessary guarantee for the credibility, independence and impartiality of the process in the eyes of victims, given the magnitude and complexity of the alleged international crimes, which the OHCHR investigation found could amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. Overall, the Human Rights Council should be encouraged by the steps thus far taken by the government to implement some of the key commitments made in Resolution 30/1 and the consultations and preparations underway to further elaborate and design the transitional justice mechanisms. Inevitably, this transformative process will take time. Dealing with the multiple tracks of constitutional reform, transitional justice, economic recovery and security sector reform would tax the capacity of any government. Nevertheless, I urge the government to take concrete steps to address the impatience, anxiety and reservations of victims towards this process.
Mr. President, reconciliation does not happen at once, overnight. It requires effort, hard work, commitment and careful, continuous, concrete action. I would say, if I may, that we are following what the ancient Romans would have called a policy of festina lente, making haste slowly. This may make it seem for some that the progress we are making is too fast and too slow for others. What we have achieved so far since January 2015 may seem like baby steps for some, but for us in Sri Lanka, these are giant leaps. The road ahead is certainly challenging, but it is powered by our determination and resolve to achieve reconciliation. There are some who doubt our sincerity to do so, and also, I must say, a few who want us to fail. I wish to say that the government is united and firm in its commitment to achieve reconciliation, development and ensure non-recurrence. Let us have the benefit of your doubts in order to take forward this extremely challenging yet essential process for our nation.
President Maithripala Sirisena, addressing an event held this afternoon, commented on the appointment of a new central bank governor.
President Maithripala Sirisena attended an event held at the Mahavali grounds in Gidandurakote as part of the national program to eradicate chronic kidney disease. Kidney disease is something that is being debated at present. The central bank issue is also being debated these days. The tenure of the central bank governor is due to end tomorrow. Therefore, I will be appointing a new governor. Issues have arisen due to the increase in VAT. The day-to-day activities of the public have been affected. The prices of commodities have increased. Because of this, I have reached a decision to amend the taxes and provide relief to the public. I engaged in discussions in this regard with the Prime Minister yesterday as well as this morning. A further meeting will be held on Monday. Taking into consideration the situation that has arisen with regard to the vehicle permits of state sector employees, the President stated that a circular has been issued to provide them with the lost benefits.
The investigation report on the central bank bond issue from February 2015 to May 2016 compiled by the Auditor General's Department was handed over to the Committee on Public Enterprise or COPE and the Speaker of Parliament.
Views were exchanged during the meeting on the current economic situation of the country. During the meeting, President Maithripala Sirisena stated that he hopes to obtain the views of all parties when creating the future economic framework of the country.
What we want to do is to create a prosperous country that is economically strong. For this, we hope to bring together the ideas of everyone. For this to become a reality, there needs to be political backing, active participation and patronage from all parties. Although we do not get a chance to meet them frequently, we know that there are plenty of experts, especially financial experts in these institutions. That is why I decided to set up this meeting suddenly in order to speak with them.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also took part in the meeting held this evening. The investigation report on the central bank bond issue from February 2015 to May 2016, compiled by the Auditor General's Department, was handed over to the Committee on Public Enterprise, or COPE, and the Speaker of Parliament. The report was handed over to the COPE Committee and the Speaker of Parliament this afternoon.
COPE convened at 2 p.m. today. 16 members were present during the meeting. During the meeting, a 1,251-page long broad investigative report compiled by the Auditor General was handed over to the committee. The report was also handed over to the Speaker by the Auditor General. All documents and sensitive data gathered by the Auditor General have been included in the report. The report will be studied by the committee which reconvenes on the 5th. COPE has also decided to summon the officials attached to the Finances Board, Central Bank as well as officials attached to the Finance Ministry. The COPE Committee unanimously agreed to accept the report and the recommendations of the Auditor General.
Venerable Battara Mulle Seelarathna Thera lodged a complaint with the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today.
Venerable Seelarathna Thera submitted the complaint against the Governor of the Central Bank, Arjuna Mahendran.
Arjuna Mahendran Mahatmyata.
Did they inquire into the assets and liabilities of Arjuna Mahendran before he was appointed as the Governor of the Central Bank? If this wasn't done, then on whose friendship was this appointment issued? When we speak out against it, we are branded as wrongdoers. We call on the Prime Minister and President to inquire into the assets and liabilities of Mahendran just like they do with others.
Me Mahendran Mahatmyage watkam berakam laba deela tiyenne.
A public forum titled Combating Corruption and Fraud, a Pragmatic Approach for Sri Lanka was held in Colombo yesterday. The event was organized by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka.
Codes of conduct, fit and proper persons, conflicts of interest and related party transactions are something that we in the private sector grow up, act every day and go to bed knowing and thinking about it. But is there a commitment across the board in the high appointments that are made as well as in the day-to-day running of our leadership? Is there fit and proper persons?
The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption has a mandate conferred on it in terms of the Commission Act. And that Act confers a very distinct mandate to investigate and prosecute only certain offences. Those offences are bribery, corruption and illegal acquisition of assets, we have a more serious offence to look at. And that would mean to include instances of money laundering arising out of the proceeds of bribery and corruption. Though the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption does have the mandate to investigate and prosecute instances of bribery and corruption, it does not have the mandate to investigate and prosecute instances of money laundering arising out of those two predicate offences. The view that emerged was that indeed the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption should be conferred with that mandate as well, to investigate and prosecute instances of money laundering where the predicate offence is bribery or corruption.
Senior bankers have called for extensive investigations into the controversies that shrouded the central bank in the recent past.
Today, I think we are seeing a partial ending of a long-standing controversy that prevailed in the country over a period of 1 year regarding certain irregularities that were alleged to have taken place in the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Now, the role that the media played in addition to the civil society, so to give vent to the voice of the civil society is very creditable, and I must say, Sirasa was one of the pioneering channels and organizations, media organizations that brought this out at the very inception. The civil society organizations and critics shall keep their vigilance on until a proper estimation of the losses to the state and any corrupt practices that warrant legal steps or punishments required to be meted out to those responsible. This is the thing that the civil society will be very vigilantly watching.
Protests were staged at several locations against the increase of VAT.
The All Ceylon Trade Union Collective demonstrated in the Kiribathgoda town today against the increase of VAT. Traders from Kiribathgoda, Mahara, Kalaniya, Mavaramandia, Makola and Indiramulla supported the demonstration by closing down their shops.
This demonstration was organized with the aim of protecting the public and traders. This demonstration was not organized with the intention of toppling the government. I have never ever paid such enormous amounts for VAT. We are on the streets today protesting against VAT.
A demonstration against the increase of VAT also took place by closing down all stalls at the economic centre in Katugastota, Kandy. Traders voiced their objection by obstructing the Kandy-Katugastota main road, causing disruption to traffic.
After we pay the VAT, we will have to pay the employees and the rent, utilizing our own money. We don't have enough knowledge to calculate VAT, so we'll have to employ an accountant to do this for us. The new rules and regulations imposed on VAT by the government is irresistible.
A protest organised against the increase of VAT by the Anuradhapura United Traders Union took place opposite the Anuradhapura Old Bus Stand. Our correspondent reported that the protesters handed a letter to PB Disanayake, the governor of the North Central Province, voicing their opposition.
With the VAT standing at 15%, the price of goods has also increased exponentially. We are conducting this demonstration to protect our local traders.
The protest organised by the Nitambur New United Trade Union took place in the Nitambur town. Traders closed down their shops as a mark of protest. What we ask from the government is to amend VAT to an extent which we can afford.
This has affected both wholesale and retail traders. Therefore, on behalf of all the traders, I request that a concession be provided.
It was revealed at the cabinet briefing today that the government has commenced discussions on the revision of the value-added tax.
A
rumor is spreading in various districts now that the VAT is directly impacting the ordinary businessmen. We request that if the ordinary businessmen are affected by the VAT, that it be brought to the attention of the government. At present, the Prime Minister, together with the Ministry of Finance, has commenced discussions on VAT revisions, and attention will be focused on inquiring whether any party is facing any injustice owing to VAT. Discussions are afoot regarding VAT to look into changes that can be made to points that directly impact the public, such as private health services. A need may arise in the future to increase the amount of stocks. If you increase the 12 million to 30 million, this problem will be resolved to some extent. We are discussing as to what the reduction in the earnings will be as a result of this. The Treasury has to bear the increase for welfare and the increase in state sector salaries. We need to look into how we will face the next stage. Locally grown vegetables and fruits, milk powder, rice, wheat flour, chicken, fish, eggs and coconut will remain exempted. VAT cannot be imposed on such consumer goods. No survival is necessary. For this purpose, the government income needs to be increased. There is no other alternative. Some sort of commitment needs to be made. This is not something to hide. The government has decided to create a global finance center in Colombo through a more open economy in Sri Lanka in order to overcome the local and international financial instability. By establishing such an institution, foreign as well as local businessmen will be able to obtain loan facilities at dollar rates from this finance center.
Cabinet has decided that the government will continue operations of the Anti-Corruption Secretariat until a new institutional structure is introduced.
Journalists raised questions as to whether the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division would also continue its operations.
I forwarded a proposal to introduce a trial at bar system with regard to corruption. Various views were expressed. This is a complex process. The country did not face such things in the past. Laws had not been prepared beforehand for such acts. The Anti-Corruption Secretariat, the Bribery Commission and the Attorney General Department were not set up to handle such issues. We are looking into how we can bring all these institutions together. However, we cannot create a special court just to hear these cases for 2 or 3 months. We are looking into the possibility. However, a large sum of money will have to be spent to gather information in this regard. We are prepared to tackle this complex issue through extensive discussions.
Voting is a right.
It is also the responsibility of the elected public representatives to serve the people after being voted to office.
Yet, it is questionable as to whether those elected to office have kept their promises. This is why it is time to think again.
The Think Again campaign, a public service initiative, entered its 13th day today, focusing on 3 districts. The team based in the Kalutara district commenced the campaign today from the Madawala Sri Sudarshanarama temple in Matugama.
We cast our vote with aspirations. If I don't have a child looking for a job, I aspire for the development of the village, including to upgrade the roads. However, the politicians do not look into that. They just keep going ahead. They never think of the village level development. We did not get what we wished for. They did nothing to us, nor the village. Honestly, there are some who do some work, but a majority had failed to provide a service. The village has not been benefited by any form of development.
The teams visited many villages including Agalawatta, Hadilla, Bellana, Andiyawala, Madawala, Delgasandya, Hamburegoda, Bellamahala, Polgampala and Latpandura. Public representatives had made promises during the run-up to the elections to strengthen the infrastructure facilities and renovate roads.
Parliament is like preschool. During elections, they come to the houses and sometimes even go into the kitchen. They go missing thereafter. They are not worth it. They spoke of 1 million jobs, but not a single job has been given during this 1 year since the government was elected.
Another Newsfirst team commenced the campaign from Hatton. When Newsfirst visited the Gaminipura village, the locals lamented on broken election promises.
They must understand that we vote for them with aspirations. We are not asking for any aid or jobs. What we ask is for the road leading to the village be renovated. A cassette player and the other belongings were washed away. Not one person came to see what happened. So why are we supposed to vote for them?
We cannot dig in this area. We cannot even properly build a septic tank. Since 2002, we have informed the urban council and 20 persons in this regard. Yet no one has looked at this issue. If a person solves this for us, we will vote for him. We do not care what party he belongs to.
The people living in the Blankan estate housing scheme in Dikkoya note that politicians have turned a blind eye towards their problems.
It's been 2 to 3 months since the tree fell. A number of persons came and looked into this. For 3 months, we are finding it difficult to live here. If it rains, it is impossible to stay indoors.
They say that they will do something. Those are limited to words. Look at the state of this place. The tree has also fallen. We cannot even sleep at night. We don't know if this will fall again. They only come here to see what has happened.
When we inform the councillor, he just gives a temporary answer.
People from the Dikkoya area visit the Dikkoya base hospital for treatment. Despite the fact that the hospital was built under Indian aid, the new wards have not been opened for a period of 2 years, severely inconveniencing patients.
When it rains, there is no place for us to stay. When it rains, we have to hold an umbrella or otherwise stay under the hot sun. We fall sick and come here to take medication. We are severely inconvenienced here. We might even faint.
The Newsfirst team touring the Batiklo district visited the villages of Horativkattu, Pudun Maritshole, 37th Colony, Kadukamale and several others.
They only come during elections. We voted for them. However, we have not been provided with proper sanitation facilities or even drinking water. They have done nothing for us. We face the threat from wild elephants. We cannot control it. When we return home after protecting the paddy fields at night, the elephants have destroyed the houses. There is no one to look into these matters.
The measure of a man is what he does with power. Plato. Be prepared for the Newsfirst Think Again rally to join with the voice, ranging from the village to the town and to the city, on Saturday the 2nd of July on 4 separate locations across the island.
The 8th edition of the Udagammana program was unveiled to the public in Halwatura, Bulatsinhala. The village that was handed over to the public today has been named as Navodhyagama. Navodhyagama was constructed as a community housing development project. The awarding of deeds to the beneficiaries and the presentation of loans at low interest rates were also carried out at the event. 25 houses were constructed on a landmass of 3 acres. The village was handed over to the public by Minister of Housing and Development Sajith Premadasa. We are well aware that if we fail to do substantial work, we too will be sent home in 5 to 6 years. We have to face a major interview in 5 to 6 years. That is the general election and the presidential election. If the government of good governance, which came into power in 2015, does not implement development work within 5 to 6 years, we too will suffer the Rajapaksa fate and we too will be sent home. We are aware of it.
Palitha Thevara Peruma, the Deputy Minister of Internal, Cultural and Biome Development, recently commenced a Satyagraha campaign against injustice caused to 10 students during the Grade 1 admissions. Today, the Deputy Minister commented on the final leg of the Satyagraha campaign.
Deputy Minister is engaging in the Satyagraha campaign opposite the Matugama Zonal Education Office. I will stop this if anyone is making this into a media facade. All I am asking is for these 10 students to be granted grade 1 admission to school. I've been without food for the past 3 days. This is the government of good governance. This is a national government. The people joined with us to build this national government. We achieved victory at the elections, but we have not been able to transfer this victory. The President hopes to address this separately. We created that government of good governance, but now we have to remain on the people's side. We will move away from the government of good governance. I am not the only one here. There are many opposition leaders. We will move away from the government of good governance. We will resign. US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Atul Keshap says that consistent policies are required to attract foreign investments. The ambassador made this statement addressing the 177th annual general meeting of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce in Colombo yesterday.
I am amazed by the enormous economic potential rooted in this country's solid base of human and physical capital and its strategic position in a fast-growing and dynamic region. No matter where I go in Sri Lanka, whether it's Trincomalee, Jaffna, Hambantota, or in and around Colombo, I cannot help but wonder how very much more impressive this country will be when all Sri Lankans, regardless of ethnicity or socioeconomic background, can achieve their full potential. To win investment dollars, Sri Lanka can give itself a competitive edge by establishing clear and consistent policies in all areas of the economy. Clear, consistent policies are the cornerstone for creating an attractive investment for investors, both foreign and domestic. Policy clarity and consistency level the playing field, create transparency, and provide predictability. And these are things, ladies and gentlemen, that investors crave.
And that's it from all of us here at the Newsfirst desk for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
I'm Satrang Hapuarati. Take care and good night.